What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Well, here it is. This is the brand new fusion that's coming up next week. July 4th is the release date on it. Some people were speculating that the fusion would launch on July 10th, which I didn't think was going to happen because July 10th is a Wednesday and usually fusions start on Thursdays. And of course, we have a summon rush to start next Friday as well. So it just made sense that a fusion would launch on July 4th. So with that being said, this is the new fusion, Packmaster Sky'ek. All right, guys, so let's jump into the kit and let's have a first look at what we're dealing with here. So let's jump right into it. All right, so first of all, let's go over what Plarium has to say about Sky'ek here. So Packmaster Sky'ek is going to be a champion fragment event. So it's going to be a fragment fusion. It's the easiest type of fusion to complete. It's going to be an orc. Legendary HP based force champion. Okay, it seems like we've been getting quite a bit of force champions over the last year or two, but it is what it is. It's fine. Packmaster Sky'ek is a unique type of champion who thrives when surrounded by his loyal hounds. That's already raising question marks for me personally. As a mighty pack leader, Sky'ek excels at gathering hounds to his side, enhancing his abilities in battle. So, you know, when I read that, I was like, oh, this is going to be pretty cool. He's going to like generate hounds, right? He's going to generate hounds, maybe like an ally attack type of thing. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool if he can like, you know, bring hounds in. He is a versatile champion, useful in both PvP and PvE. Okay, usually when they say PvP, it's pretty generous, but sure, PvE. With Packmaster on your team, new players will be able to utilize hounds for clearing early content more effectively, and seasoned players can experiment in the arena or form new teams against the Hydra. So they're not specifying any clan boss usage. It's very questionable whether new players will build up the existing hounds just to make this guy work, if they're implying that. So that's also questionable. And obviously those hounds aren't going to be very good in arena because they're not used in arena currently. But who knows what Sky'ek provides. Sky'ek's pack consists of, oh my god, Terror Beast, Gore Mask, Hound Spawn, Hellfang, Fellhound, and Stitch Beast. Every one of those champions is like dumpster tier, unless you have very specific use cases for them. For example, Fellhound is obviously like a 5-second campaign farmer in the correct gear, with the correct PC, of course, with the correct frame rates. The rest of them don't really get used ever. They're mostly just junk. So this is very not good. You're not really selling Sky'ek here, right? When at least one hound joins him in battle, his skill set gains additional benefits. Okay, so he's like a faction unity champion, but with hounds, so he's like a species unity champion, I guess. Without his low beast, Sky'ek's A1 has a chance to land decreased defense debuff on the enemy. Okay, his A2 allows Packmaster Sky'ek to tank and absorb enemy damage with the help of taunt, self-heal, occasional shield. Okay. I mean, we have epics that have moves that are similar to that, right? Like Dudan. Dudan has, you know, taunt shield healing. A3 will increase allies turn meter, place block buffs, so you'll find it useful for speed teams in arena. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, okay, I can get okay. And his passive will boost the whole team's damage against the target enemy. Okay, so damage dealing passive, that's good for Hydra, I guess. When Sky'ek is joined by at least one member of his pack, his A1 additionally commands his hound companions to launch a coordinated attack on the target. So similar to, I guess, Mikage, when her A1 attacks, she brings in a Shadowkin faction to attack with her. In this case, this guy's bringing hounds. His enhanced A2 will make buffs protected and block debuffs from his A3 irresistible. Additionally, the hounds will launch a counterattack whenever Packmaster is attacked, further enhancing his passive ability. Okay, by the way, I think this is the interesting part here. By the way, if you're not impressed with his current roster of loyal hounds, just wait. Packmaster Sky'ek will always be on the lookout for new members to add to his pack, and who knows what beast will join his side next. I don't like that from Plarium because they're basically trying to sell this champion with future promises. So the last time they did this that I remember that really failed for them was Fortis. They offered Fortis for a guaranteed Void Legendary, and then they said, don't worry guys, we'll buff him. And then I remember people going for Fortis thinking that he would get buffed. He did get buffed, and he's still crap. So that's how much faith I have in future hounds that's going to join Sky'ek here. So not looking good so far from the description and my analysis of the description, but let's see his kit and let's comment on that further. All right, guys, so there's the kit in all its glory. We got Packmaster Sky'ek here. His aura, actually pretty good. Ally speed in all battles, 19%. That's a very serviceable aura, so kind of makes sense for him to be used in arena, I guess, if they wanted to use him there or describe him there, right? Let's go for his A1. Kill command. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance. When booked, it's up to 70% chance. That's kind of meh. But anyway, 70% chance to land decreased defense for 2 turns. And then the secondary part of his A1 teams up with any ally, Terror Beast, Goremass, all these hounds to attack. The ally joining the attack will use the default skill. So similar to, like I said, Mikage. I mean, it's just these champions are not good. Maybe they will add a legendary beast. Based on the last comment that Plarium said in their description, a legendary beast or another epic beast would make sense. Or maybe they add, I guess they're sticking with the hound theme. So it has to be something that of significance. If it's a legendary beast and that beast is going to be good, then maybe this elevates it quite a lot, because then you have something like a Mikage level, like Marichka Taras level, if that hound is actually good. But that's just me speculating. We have no idea. It could be a partner. Could be a partner to be released. It could be a partner. What do you guys think? It could be a partner, guys, that we don't know yet. Anyways, his A2 coming in here with the Pack Alpha. It's kind of weird. Could maybe called Alpha Pack. Pack Alpha. 5 turns down to 2 turns. Nice to see only 2 books here. Removes all debuffs from this champion. So it's a self cleanse, which kind of sucks. And then heals them by 50% of their max HP. So it's a pretty big heal on this particular champion. Then places a shield buff on this champion. The shield is equal to any surplus heal, which is possible because the heal is so big, it's half his health. So if he's using this ability with more than half health, he's going to get an extra shield out of it. The shield buff cannot be removed, stolen, transferred if there is at least one of these hounds on the same team. Finally, places taunt and reflect damage on this champion for 2 turns. This buff cannot be stolen, transferred, whatever, if there's a hound on a team. So let's look at this at base value. Like, I'm going to look at his kit without any bonuses from hounds, because I'm going to say most people won't be using these hounds to make this guy good. Is this a good skill? 3 turn, single target cleanse, big heal, shield, taunt, reflect damage. I mean, he could be used in Hydra as a mischief tank. He could be used in Hydra as a taunt champion. With his protected buffs, it also makes it a little bit interesting, because if the buffs are protected, they cannot be stolen, which makes him a pretty good mischief target, and especially all these solo buffs on himself. So I could definitely see this move being used in that application. And I think that's where it's intended to be used. However, I think jamming one of these hounds onto your Hydra team is probably going to hurt your team significantly. So we have to wait and see what the future hounds will look like. So, but otherwise, the move seems okay. It does have a use case for it. So definitely have keep this move in mind. His A3 Blood Howl, 4 turns down to 3 turns with only 3 books. You need the books in here to make it 100%, but it's a 100% chance to place block buffs, AoE, for 2 turns. And it's on a 3-turn cooldown, and it's a turn meter fill. So if you compare this to like somebody like Ugo, who has a 3-turn decreased defense and block buffs, you're comparing that to that power level of skill. So is the turn meter fill better than decreased defense? No, it's not. But it's something, right? It's something. And of course, AoE block buffs is very, very good and very important for your Hydra team. So is this better than Ugo's decreased defense and block buffs? Probably not, but still very solid to wrap up in a kit. Finally, his passive, We Hunt as 1. When attacked, places a hex debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. So it's a 1-turn hex debuff. You can increase that with the Hexer Mastery. That's kind of cool. Ally attacks on targets under hex placed by this champion deal 20% more damage. So your team, when they attack hex targets placed by this champion, deals 20% more damage. So unfortunately, it's just this champion and it's not all hex. Unfortunately, if it was all hex and your allies deal 20% more damage to all hex enemies, that would be amazing. But as it is, it's not as amazing. Yeah, the setup is going to take a long time. You're not likely to place hex. You're not likely to place hex on all the Hydra heads, for example, because this is where, you know, this passive is aimed at Hydra. You're not likely to place it on all the heads together. And having your opponent, which is the Hydra head, attack you is obviously not advantageous when you start building champions that are very fast and you want to be dishing out the damage yourself. This is kind of how things like Geomancer, although he does insane amounts of damage for an epic, he falls off in the, you know, the hyper end game damage dealer for Hydra because he relies on getting hit to deal damage. So same kind of idea here for Sky'ek. He's not going to be super great for this hex ability. However, I do see some value for it, that it is pretty good. And of course, you know, 1 turn duration can be increased and all that stuff. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. When this champion is attacked, all your hounds will counterattack. So it's kind of interesting, but like I said, most of the hounds aren't going to be very good in this regards. So we can't really put too much stock into that. Overall, I think this fusion is kind of mid. It's not going to be something that a lot of people will be jumping out of their chairs, waiting to go at it. It is a fragment fusion, so there is a little bit more ease to it. Obviously, the shards will be expensive and one of the biggest bottlenecks to completing any fusion. But as a fragment fusion, I think it can be picked up a lot easier than the other fusions that we've had, like traditional and hybrid fusions. Do I think this champion is worth getting? It is an AoE block buff champion. It's a Force Affinity AoE block buff champion, so it can come into maybe some situations where the Hydra is affinity, bad affinity for somebody like Ugo, and then you need an AoE block buff champion, so then you can bring a Sky'ek. The Terminator is kind of nice as well to help your team dish out more damage. The single target taunt and cleanse on himself, if you can somehow incorporate a beast to make those buffs protected, it makes him incredibly strong, because that means you don't need to build resistance on him, because usually how players are using the taunt ability against Hydra is they build a champion with taunt with high resistance, and to basically, you know, have all the heads attack it, and the buffs being being very hard to steal as well because of the high resistance. But if all of these buffs are already protected, then you don't need to build them with resistance. But of course, that's, you know, contingent on having a hound on your team, which I don't think is a viable strategy right now. But the A2 is definitely very, very interesting. And of course, future hounds, I guess. I don't like that they're selling this champion with that kind of, you know, disclaimer at the bottom. But I think it might be a partner. It might be a partner that they'll release at the same time. So we'll have more information as the days go by. So like I said, the fusion, July 4th, it's going to be next week. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next one.